A double whammy from Mother Nature as we come on the air at 8 a.m. this Saturday morning on a weather impact alert as all 100 counties are under a state of emergency. This is what you might be seeing outside of your window, and it's only going to get worse as the morning goes on and several inches of snow will fall across the Triad on top of precipitation still left over from the last system. The bitter cold air, a story of its own. Welcome, I'm Megan Malaris.
And I'm Giselle Thomas, and we know that we've been following this weather very closely. We have crews spread out all throughout the Triad. But first, we're going to check in with our meteorologist, Ed Matthews. Now, Ed, we know that there's so many different things going on in so many different counties. We're now really starting to see that snow stick to the ground. Tell us about some of that conditions and what's going on at this time.
Well, every flake is surviving. Temperatures are in the teens, so the roads are becoming covered and very, very slick, and also it's accumulating on the ground. It's all snow, no worries about sleet or freezing rain. And what we have noticed through the morning is just an expansion of snow, not only over us, but we're seeing snow now in eastern North Carolina as our winter storm is getting organized along the Carolina coast. As the storm gets stronger, the winds get stronger, and the feel-like temperatures plummet. It feels like 3 out at PTI and in Danville, 5 over at Reedsville and Winston-Salem, 6 in Burlington, feels like 8 over in Asheboro. Those wind chills will likely stay in the single digits today with maybe a 30-mile-per-hour wind gust later today and tonight. Temperatures upper teens to around 20 as the snow continues through the day, tapering off to more of a snow shower pattern as we go into the evening. All the snow should be east of our area just after midnight tonight. It'll be cold, bitterly cold, 11 for the low, and with the wind up tonight, wind chills easily tonight going below 0.
All right, now we're going to check back in with our live crews. Now we have 2 people in 2 different places. We have Amber Lake. We know that she's in Greensboro, actually headed to a water main break. And we also have Christina Dillon. We know that she's over off of Salem Parkway.
Yeah, Amber, let's start with you. We know when conditions are this cold, we get water main breaks. This area of Wendover at 29, very heavily traveled on a normal day, and a water main.
Hey guys, we definitely haven't gotten to that water main break yet, but we are still on the highway, and you can see the snow is continuing to pile up. The NCDOT plow truck driver that we spoke with did tell us that he was going to clear off his windshield wipers, and then he was going to start plowing 85 between South Elm Eugene and the Randolph County line exit over there. We talked to him earlier, and I told you that he was putting down salt on the roadways. That's what they do before they start plowing. They're going to wait until it gets to about that 2-inch mark for the snow accumulation to start plowing. So he said that he is going to start doing that, which means I guess that we're at that 2-inch mark on the roadways. What's interesting to see is whenever you're driving around, whenever, you know, snow is falling and there's an accumulation, it always looks like this. You never drive within the lanes, right? Because look at us, we are driving in the middle of the highway right now, but it seems as though everyone just kind of makes one lane to make it a lot easier for people to travel. This gentleman is definitely not driving in the lane that was created by plow trucks, so he might be having some difficulty there. We did drive in the snow earlier, and like we talked about earlier, there is some traction under our wheels. It isn't like last weekend where you were slipping and sliding everywhere. But you do have this one lane going, you know, both ways on the highway that people typically stay in, and it helps with travel. But we do have those plow trucks as well that are dumping salt and hopefully plowing at this current moment, guys.
All right, Amber, yeah, we know those priority roads like the one you are on are going to be tackled first, and then it's going to be the secondary, and then the neighborhoods. Already there's concern about school or lack thereof on Monday. We'll have to see. So is it all salt now and not brine? How does that work, and what's the difference?
So the difference between salt and brine, I mean, we've done these stories multiple times, right? And I haven't had that specific conversation with my plow truck driver, but I'm imagining that the salt is just that. It's the salt that goes on the roadway, that coarse salt crystals that go on the roadway. The brine is mixed with a solution, and that goes typically on the roads ahead of the storm to help bring that freezing temp down on the roadway so we don't see these frozen roads. We did just pass a plow truck that was plowing the road, so we're about to get off Windover Avenue excuse me, to try to find that water main break, but we are going to keep our eyes out for those plow trucks and see what their next step is once they do hit that plow and they do start plowing the roads. Are they going to keep doing that? Are they going to continue to dump salt? We're going to keep you posted.
Also, just to give you guys a little perspective, we're seeing in Amber's live shot, she just passed one of the exits for Gate City Boulevard. That is a highly traveled road. We know that has several lanes there. So just so you guys can understand, these are roads that we go by every day, and right now it's reduced to that half of a lane right there. Now we're actually also going to be moving on to Christina Dillon. We know that she's over in Forsyth County. Christina, how are things looking? It looks like visibility is impacted in where you are as well.
Oh yeah, it's certainly coming down a lot more from what it was even, an hour ago. The wind gusts are coming in, the flakes are getting heavier, they're pelting us in the face, they're getting all over my clothes. So this is absolutely sticking. If you take a look at the highway here, you can see that it's sticking on the roadways, and visibility is really impacted by this. If you take a look, I don't know how far out we can go, but over by those signs right over there, you can see kind of how foggy and how white this snow is, really impacting how far you can see out. And that was what it was like when we were driving. We were really seeing the flurries come up. People are going a lot slower on the highways. Some people have got their hazards on as they're driving just to warn other drivers that they are going to be taking it slow. So people, it seems to us from where we are and from where we were out at the road, do seem to be driving safely and taking the right precautions. As far as plows go here in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, I haven't seen any. I've been up on this, right by this pedestrian bridge overlooking the Salem Parkway. I've been watching, and I haven't seen any go by. So I did reach out to the city of Winston-Salem. I also reached out to the NCDOT. I know that they're having press conferences later at 10 and 3, but trying to get ahead of that and see what they can let me know right now. So I will absolutely keep you guys posted as I find out when we're gonna see them on these roads. We do know those residential and, smaller secondary side roads are gonna be, second and third on that priority list. And also, I want to make a note, I'm layering. You should layer if you're going to go out. We know that the way this snow is, kids are probably going to be snowing and it's freezing. So make sure that you're wearing scarf, mittens, hat, you've got your parka on, your ski pants, your snow pants. I've got leggings under these. So be really warm. One more thing I want to make you guys aware of, this snow right here. So it's snow, right? It's fluffy. All of this under this is a solid sheet of ice. So if you think that maybe you're going to get traction as you're walking on a sidewalk or walking somewhere else, you could easily it's about ½ an inch, wipe away that snow that's there and absolutely wipe out. So that's something to be really careful of.
Yeah, good point. That's the problem. A lot of this precip, the ice in Winston particularly, is still left over from last weekend. So we're dealing with potentially a big mess now with this latest snow. I want to mention Haynes Mall, by the way, is closed today. So if you lose heat and we're thinking that the mall sounded like a good place to get warm, it will not be an option. You'll have to find another resource.
And something else extra to add as we're continuing, we know that with the NASCAR Cookout Clash that there's nothing going on today. So just as a reminder for those, things are going tomorrow, not today. Now we also know that this storm is impacting the entire state with all 100 counties that are under this winter storm warning.
Yeah, Governor Josh Stein gave another news conference yesterday emphasizing the severity of the cold, hypothermia, frostbite, a real risk, whether you're working outside or whether the kids are sledding today.
So folks just need to not be outside if they possibly can. And if they are outside, make sure that you are well dressed, wearing lots of leathers and covering all exposed skin.
And after this storm makes its way through the Triad, we know that a lot of people might be interested in going sledding. Please make sure that you are emphasizing safety. Just last year, there was a deadly sledding incident that happened right here in the Triad, and we talked to a local medical director about what you should not do.
I think the biggest contributor to these severe injuries are when you're being pulled behind like an ATV or a truck. That can be extremely dangerous, as the sleds can get out of control. It can run into other cars and things on the street. So that's one I would not recommend at all.
So parents, please listen up. Officials say that to ride, usually keep it at one unless the sled is specifically designed for multiple people, and also wear a helmet just for that extra protection.
Yeah, stay away from frozen bodies of water. We will never be cold enough long enough to play on, skate on, do anything on ice-covered water. There were 3 deaths related to frozen water in the Triad last year. And we're just hearing this morning from High Point emergency crews that a man and his dog had to be rescued in High Point. Ice can be very deceiving. It cannot support the weight of a person, a sled, or a pet. If you are a first responder, an essential worker, you have to go somewhere this morning, it will be slow going. You might be thinking about driving with your hazard lights on when the snow is falling. You can technically, legally do that, but it could be harmful. Other drivers won't know if you need to switch lanes, and state troopers say it's a big distraction.
And despite the snow and the cold, the Clash at Bowman Gray is still on for Sunday night. Now, please keep in mind all the events that are scheduled today are canceled, and a ton of equipment is being used to make sure that that track is up and ready for Sunday. Now, that includes snow plows, skid skiers, also Gear and Bristol Motorway Speedway and the Talladega Speedway. Now, we've also got some more preparations for that race that's coming up.
Snow still coming down pretty quickly here at WFMY in Guilford County. We've had just over ½ an inch. Other areas across the Piedmont netting over an inch or 2 so far. Coming up, we'll talk about snow totals and what you can expect when the snow is all said and done. Coming up.